Hello, guys. Welcome back to Speed Dahlgren, and I've gotten quite a bit done on this jet, but we've had just kind of a run of luck in this state before, and it has nothing to do with the FAA. It has absolutely nothing to do with AMA or FAA. This is a decision a family made where a flying field was they just want to sell. And that's going to put us in a situation where we're going to lose our flying field. Uh, some business wants to put an actual business park in there, and that's probably a good thing, but it kind of sucks for us. But the one thing is, the reality of the whole deal is that excuse me. This leaves us with a field that's only about 150 miles away to fly. Now, I had, gosh, better than coughing, I guess. But anyway, the main thing that's gone on was that since we've lost our field, we're not going to be able to go with our club. We don't have enough members and things like that to sustain or even warrant going. We only have 30 members for large scale airplanes in the state, or at least in our club anyway. And the rest of the clubs that we've researched have actually put it in a situation where we are going to only, they have to have an opening. And they're a private club, they own their property, but their runways are not big enough for quarter scale jets. That's the other downfall of it. So we're kind of in a really messed up situation with that. So the it's going to cost a lot to go flying with this particular airplane, and it's just not something that we are going to be able to do on a weekly basis, especially trying to get set up with Top Gun and everything else. Well, that's good. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to make this jet actually in a situation where I'm not going to be able to fly it anywhere except for very special occasions in Arlington and to fly in. And once a year does not warrant enough to own a jet like this. So this jet is for sale. $7,000. You guys have seen it built here. The turbine, I'm going to show you guys this and that on this, and we're going to go over the jet here for a minute, and I'm going to show you. This is the Jetmonts 160G gas turbine. This is a Merlin, and this is what powers it. And as you guys know, I have not got into this. Now, here's the thing. We've got so much time involved in this over the last couple of years that I want to make sure that you guys are knowing that I will personally, if it's in the lower 48 of the United States, I will personally deliver this airplane to you, and we'll go over it and show the setup of it and everything and how it works and what it is. And I have a special foam box that just sits in the back of the car and that everything sits in and stacks in neatly to prevent it from getting beat up. And it's a big box. It takes up the whole entire back of it takes up the entire back. Even though it comes apart in 7 pieces, this thing has special envelopes for all the wing panels, the vertical fin to sit in, plus the wings sit in it, and then this sits on top of each other, and it's completely done so that it doesn't rock, it doesn't move or anything, and it wasn't cheap to do, and it could probably be shipped overseas in it, but it's huge. It's big. It'll probably cost $1,000 to have this thing shipped. And so I figured it out. It probably cost me probably about $300 or $400 to be able to go and drive across the country, maybe a night or two in a motel, and I'm okay with that. But if somebody decides they want it, if you're willing to pay for the shipping, I'm willing to ship it. It's just, it's got to be created. It's got to be insured. This is not a cheap jet, guys. I've got $12,000 sitting here. I'm selling it for $7,000 so that I can start a new build, which I'm leaning towards a Sea Fury. And we just don't have them. We're already, wintertime is the only time we're allowed to fly, even if we could around here. The clubs have their own rules. It has nothing to do with AMA or FAA. It has absolutely nothing to do with any of that. This is just a money thing. And real estate is extremely expensive. They want $6 million for that property, and they'll get it. They will get it because it just got turned into commercial, and they want the businesses moving up here this way. Seattle's filled up. So those business parks, they'd rather just get rid of the business down there and put everything up here. And that's what they're going to do. And that's also why we've entertained the thought of actually leaving and moving away from here. It's just getting too much, and there's just nothing left here. But that all being said, I want to bring up some simple matters of facts that this jet has been built by me. I've been doing this for 40 years. There's nothing wrong with it. It will fly beautifully. There won't be any other issues. But the airplane is for sale. It's been listed on some groups on Facebook. If anybody decides they want it, that's watch this build and all that, let me know. I will make some provisions for everybody. You guys are sitting on the back wing, by the way. You're sitting on the stabilizer. So the one thing is, the jet is for sale, and it's not because I'm bored with it or nothing. It's just, I built this big, beautiful airplane, but the only time it will ever get maiden would be at Top Gun itself, and it's not an okay thing for me because of the fact is that you need time to practice this. It just ruins the dream of having a jet, which is what I wanted to do. But then again, we can go and build another pretty decent warplane there, I guess. And I've always been a warbird fanatic. I would entertain the thought of a partial trade, and I would do it. And I don't know, it'd have to be something pretty significant. Now I want to explain what we got, and then I'm going to take and walk you guys through the airplane. I'm going to show you what I got, what I have to do, and the one thing is I want to finish the jet. It's not done. It's got a long ways to go, but if somebody decides they want it and they want to buy it, $7,000 is a complete jet, guys. That is the contingency of this, is that I want to finish the jet. It'll be brought to you ready to bind and fly. I have almost everything. There's a few things to get. It's about $1,000 away in parts to get it. Still got to get the main wheels, the brakes, the MP3 valves, the air cylinders for the gear doors, which I've almost got done, by the way. And I've still got things to build into this airplane that I've always had plans on doing. And so in order to buy it, it's got to be on a contingency that I'd be allowed to take and finish it. Now, I'm not going to take this, well, I'll see it when it's done. It's not the deal. The deal is that I will take half down to finish the jet and get it completed, and I could do it reasonably quick. Money's the only thing that's really holding me up right now, is that I still got to get the tailpipe built, turbine installed, fuel tanks. That's $250 right there for just the 2 Kevlar tanks that go in here. And then there's all the rest of the other stuff that goes, the vents, there's a lot to go in there. All the wiring is done. The servos are installed, the radio gear is in it, but there's an awful lot of things that are not done in it. And it's because I've been spending so much time doing details and rivets. And I'm not going to sell somebody an empty jet. And it's just not okay. And that's why another reasons we kind of knew this was going on. And now we're just kind of reaping the story that we're just going to lose our field. And that's a done deal. They've already put earnest money on it. We've already been given notice legally by lawyers and everything else that they will not accept us. We have to be off that property completely. And we've got to be off there by the end of the month because the place is in diligence. It is being sold. It was in writing. We knew about this. We were given time to actually go and find another place. And we couldn't do that. So we weren't able to actually do that. So we're kind of in that catch-22 now, where it would cost us probably $100,000 just to secure another place big enough, because you got to have a minimum of 75 acres around here, or 50 at the very least. That's just the rules of it, and that's what we have to have. And so there's a lot going on there. And so if it was a farm action lease, it'd be one thing where we shared it with a deal and then subbed it out to where we could do like we did on the other field. We had Timothy hay on it, and it was watered, and they got 3 cuttings a year, and we were selling entire truckloads for, we were getting a lot for it. So we were able to do that and farm it, and we had just a small area for the runway cut into that. So we can't really, unless we could find another 75 to 100 acres, it's not even worth us to do alfalfa or grass for animal feed like we were doing. So there's just no way we can balance it out there and do it. It would cost us to get a Harlow cut. We were getting $1,500 for a Harlow, which is a whole, basically, I don't know how many bales, quite a few. But we were getting 3 times a year, we were getting 10 Harlows. So you figure that out, 10, 15, we were getting about $15,000, 3 times a year. So that was going back, and we didn't make any profit on it because of the club. And we had to pay a farmer to come in and cut that, bale it, stack it, and then we had to have it sold, and then we had to pay the trucking and everything like that. And that was just the whole thing. By the time we did it, we were basically breaking pretty much enough even to be able just to cover that rent on that place. And we all took turns with the irrigating. We flood irrigated over there. So it was kind of like when we did that, we were taking time. Well, we can't afford to pay to maintain a field, and it's just no way it's going to happen. We discussed the landfill option that was over here to do that, and Snohomish County basically laughed at us and said, no, we don't think so, because you drone flyers will be out there and you guys are causing problems. And so that was kind of a slap in the face. And even through education, they don't care. Some of these people that run these offices have absolutely no clue what they're talking about. And you can't talk to them, especially, sorry, but you can't talk to these freaking Democrats because they've already made up their mind before you ever got in there. So that's one of the things, they're not going to allow us to go in and do that because they're just closed-minded. They'll go and make a skateboard park nobody ever uses, and that's supposed to keep the kids off the street. But they don't give us a place to run RC cars. They don't give us a place to do any of this, but they'll put a park anywhere. And we're not allowed to fly these in the parks. That's against the state laws. So we're one of those deals where there's still places we can fly, but I probably won't do another quarter. I'd probably do a fifth scale, and that'll be the biggest. If not, just go and do a couple top flights. But I don't know. I love to fly, but I like to build, and I want to build another large scale. But jets are out of the question. They're just not going to happen here, and we're not going to make it. They made that point extremely and completely and totally obvious and very clear that that was not going to be an okay thing because population areas and their lack of understanding is what it amounts to. But as for the hobby and what we're doing, I mean, it's fine. I wouldn't get all upset about it. We got a long time before we have to worry about that. And from my personal knowledge and heads up from other individuals, I already know that we're probably not ever going to lose our right because, number one, they don't want to see the lawsuits coming from Futaba, Spectrum, you name it, Tower Hobby, all these. If they go do this, this is going to be such a major slam. Top Flight, Tomahawk, all these people that are manufacturers and all that, they're on point, and they're like, really, you're going to do that much damage to us? No, you're not. And besides that, the FAA's got almost 7 years worth of letters they have to read. So if you haven't done it, get your butt in there and get those damn letters put into the FAA. They have to, by law, read every single complaint. Every single one. And they have to respond to it if you do it. If they don't respond and they make an action, it's a big major it's a class action lawsuit against the FAA if they don't. So make sure that you get it. You make sure they respond. They're so backlogged right now with 30,000 letters and complaints. They have to answer each one. That means they got to read it. They're not going to be able to do nothing in 5 years. They can't make any decisions, and everything is saying the same thing. And you know what? Send 5 in. Bug them. Make sure they understand the errors of their ways. Harass them. Don't call them and harass them. Make sure they get them to where they have to answer you. You demand an answer. You don't let it just go and not do anything, because that's not how that is intended. So you do your thing, you make these things work, and then slap them upside the head with it. So make sure you're supporting your AMA. Make sure if you're an AMA member that your dues are paid. Don't let them lapse. Make sure you get these straightened out. And if you guys are from other countries, take notice of what's going on, because if the United States does this because of drone flying and stuff like that, your country will be next. And there's 19 countries watching here. So I want to make sure you guys understand what your rights are, regardless of what country you're in, because the American Model Association has insurance, but we've gone 100 years with no incidences with airplanes. None. Not even with helicopters. And the club sanctioned events and all this other stuff, they're good. And nobody in an AMA membership has ever had an issue. Never. So make sure that you guys are following through, and make sure you have your facts before you write your letters. Another thing you can do as well is you can call these people and you can get this information. It's not for the privileged few. Any of you can call the FAA and say, hey, what's going on? They'll talk to you. They will talk to you. You make sure that when you talk to that person, you write their name down. A lot of times they're going to sit there, well, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to tell you the same thing I'm doing. And I can tell you, they're not going to be, they're going to listen. They are listening. And they already know what it is. And guess what, the other beautiful thing? An awful lot of them are RC plane pilots and enthusiasts. And this also brings these other deals up. So anyway, make sure you're advocating for your club and for who you are and this and that. And with that being said, let's look at an airplane. Now, a lot of guys, this is an A model, okay? A lot of you guys that are potential on this, I changed this. And if you look at it from the side, that's how you can tell this is an A model. I changed the skag on it. I changed a little bit of this line, which you guys, if you followed this from day one, you guys know I actually did do quite a bit of this stuff on. I did all of it on the camera. And I showed how I aligned all this stuff in the early days when I was just getting ready to plank that. And how I got that nose a little bit sharper because of what I knew I was not going to be able to duplicate the full movement of the elevator by doing that. The difference on it is that actually does come back to here and actually comes back and actually stops right about in here. And then this line actually dives completely more, which gives you that big spot right in here that's actually right in there. This one is rounder on the back, and that was because the A model is that way. The nose is actually sharper than on an F model. The F model is actually more bull-nosed, and it's got that deal. This has that shark nose. This was not a real popular airplane, but this is the only A model there is in the entire United States. This is the only one built, and it's the only giant one. So anyway, it does have the gear doors now, and as you can see, they open and close real well. I got to put another bolt in there. And then my gear, I've got it locked because I had it on the ground, but this is all working and works well. And they got the crack pulled angles to them. So I'm getting ready to pull the nose gear off to wrap that and actually countersink and fix the Elio bolt that's in there. I don't like it. It sticks out too far and it needs to be in, and then I'm going to smoothen that up quite a bit and make that strut actually a little bit more scale looking. Then I'm going to end, this is all mocked up, so this is all integrated, and then I'm going to go ahead and make these parts work for that. And that'll all be wrapped in an ABS and painted to done, and it's going to be heat molded to it, so it's not just glued on, or it's not going to come apart. But I'm doing that so then I have the smooth part in here that actually does move well, and it's actually going to have a little bit of play in it so I can move up and down, but it needs to be wider. And that bolt for the Elio is right smack dab in the way, so we're going to fix that, and if not, put a pin in it that goes all the way through it and make that actually more convincing. So anyway, I'm working on that, and I'll be pulling that apart to fix this up. The scissors actually got to be finished up and painted and all this other stuff. Working on the other gear doors. I'm going to finish up the rivets on this, and then I'll do in another video. I'll go over what I use for servos, what they are. These are all brand new. Nothing is used in this jet. Of course, it's got one of my cockpits in it, and that's actually starting to be a pretty good deal. So I got all this stuff done in here. It's actually kind of fun to look at now. So anyway, I'm getting closer and closer and closer, and then I will be sharing with you guys a little bit more about what's going on. I got a couple little things to fix on it, nothing major, and then we'll get this thing sealed and start painting the fuselage, getting that paint job done on that, and getting everything kind of completed. It will be a camo, but I've got Nigel Wagstaff is actually doing the original that's on my profile of this. He's actually doing the actual black and yellow diamonds for the nose, and up there we're getting the stars and bars, and then we'll do all the nodulars on it. So anyway, my battery's going dead. I'll see you guys in the funny papers.